We are a place that doesn't let cowardly murderers get away with their crimes under the cover of darkness. We're the place that finds justice for victims, and today is a big step on that path.
A huge break in one of the biggest crimes in state history. Just hours ago, investigators said 6 people faced charges in connection with the brutal Pike County massacre from 2016. 4 of them are accused of murder. 2 more stand accused of covering it up. All come from the same family. This indictment says the 4 charged with murder systematically executed 8 members of another family, the Rodens. The victims, 7 adults and 1 teenager, were killed while they slept one April night in 2016. Now investigators say they know who did it, how they did it, and how they got caught. 9 on Your Side anchor Tanya O'Rourke is outside the Pike County Sheriff's Office with more. Tanya, this is just one of those heartbreaking stories that keeps going and going and going.
You're so right, Kristen. I mean, it is absolutely heartbreaking, but maybe today for the Roden family and the Gilley family, a little bit, just a measure of some relief today, some closure, maybe just a little, because we learned after 2.5 years of mystery and speculation so much more today from Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine and the sheriff here and the prosecutor here in Pike County. Let's go over a little bit of what we know. 4 people from Pike County are accused of murdering the Rodens in cold blood. They are George Billy Wagner III, his wife Andrea Wagner, his son George Wagner IV, and his other son Edward Jake Wagner. Now Jake is the father of at least one of Hannah Roden's children. She had 2 little ones. The 2 older women, Rita Newcomb and Frederica Wagner, are accused of covering up the crime and lying to police. George Wagner IV was arrested this afternoon in Lexington. The other arrests were made in several different counties throughout Ohio. The Attorney General's office says they will pursue the death penalty in all of these cases. Now, I asked Mike DeWine after that news conference today why it took so long to make those arrests, and here's what he had to say.
Well, it's never enough to know who did it. You can know who did it and you can't prove it. So we had to get this case to the point where we had enough evidence that we felt that we could go to a grand jury, enough evidence to get an indictment, enough evidence, we hope, to win in court. Again, we always have to say people are presumed innocent. They are. But, you just continue to gather the evidence. But the ultimate objective is not to make arrests. The ultimate objective is to get a conviction in court.
Okay. So now the question is going to court, and Pike County is not a giant county filled with a lot of prosecutors who have tried death penalty cases. So we actually spoke to him a little bit afterward, and we learned a lot.
Right, and we also spoke with the sheriff about this. That next step is the prosecutions, and this isn't over for the Roden families. This isn't over for investigators. Mm-hmm. Investigators are still collecting evidence. They have to question all 6 of the people who were arrested at this point, and the Roden family, the Gilley family, the Manley families, they all have to go through just the process of 6 separate trials and reliving all of this. They've already been reliving it for the last 2.5 years, but continuing to relive it as all of these cases make their way through the justice system. I also asked the sheriff today how he's feeling now after 2.5 years. He has put his heart and soul into this case, at times appearing angry and sad. Here's what he had to say.
Well, tonight, surely it's a relief. It is. It's a lot of weight taken off my shoulders. It's been a long time coming. I'm not the most patient person, but we had to just stay focused on the investigation. We had to stay focused on that we was working for 8 victims that no longer had a voice, and make sure that we had everything in place for the prosecution staff.
And at this point, the only court appearance that we know about that has been scheduled is tomorrow in Lexington with Billy Wagner. There's a question of extradition there. He will have to be extradited here to Ohio, but it could take some time for the other 5 suspects to end up in court because all of them have to find attorneys who deal with death penalty cases. Yes. And I talked to the Pike County prosecutor tonight, and he told me that it could take several days or up to a week for that to happen. I-Team investigative reporter Hillary Lake with us all night tonight, and we thank her for that. And she's right. And when we spoke to the Attorney General and his office, he said
a lot of this is going to, on the prosecution side, may end up falling on their shoulders. So many more attorneys in his office that might be able to handle such an enormous case like this. A lot more to unpack here, Kristen, and we're going to go do that tonight at 11. So stay with us tonight. Please join us at 11. We'll be here in Pike County. We have multiple crews here. So much to tell you, and we will do that then.
Ladies, thank you for the extensive coverage.